if you work in social media, marketing, sales, anything, start to become conscious of your own behavior. That is the most important thing you can do.
Sometimes you want the comments that don't agree with you because that means your video is reaching a strong number of people.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I cannot agree with that enough. I think the more trolls, the better. I love a troll. Marketing leaders are not trusting their young employees that are tapped in, and they're just putting so much like micromanagement over something they don't understand, and it's really fucking up social strategies.
I think they took out what made the algorithm super proprietary because it sorts more similar to like IG and Facebook than how scary good TikTok was. Like it's scary. It knew me at a scary level.
Like, I need someone that knows all the tools and can teach me a thing or
Better
two.
than me. No, like they didn't.
Yeah.
I need resident Gen Zs that are like showing up, living on their phones. Like if you don't live on your phone, and I know more about the like, I'm like that's a problem.
What a brand, what a brand, what a brand, what a mighty good brand. Say it again now. What a brand, what a brand, what a brand, what a mighty good brand.
So Courtney, introduce yourself. Who are you? What do you do? Why should people care?
Yes. Hello, everyone. I'm Courtney. I help people build their personal brands, specifically overcome mindset issues that come around personal brand. So you want to build your personal brand, but you're feeling weird, you're feeling cringe. You kind of know tactically how to do it, but you don't know how to overcome those emotions. Maybe you don't even know the emotions are blocking you. That's what I help with. And I'm a content creator. I create content around entrepreneurship, career, and marketing.
You really do all the things. It's like actually kind of funny. It's like I feel like we are each other's alter ego. I actually found you because so many people tag us saying we're like two blondes on the internet telling you to get your shit together and start creating content. It is like it's eerie awesome. How did you start this? How did you get into this?
Yeah, I actually had a job that required us to post on LinkedIn every day, and I hated it at the time. Yeah, but this was like 2018 maybe, and I am so thankful for that because I had to post on LinkedIn every day. I really grew my personal brand, and I was a content creator on LinkedIn first. Then I started rolling out personal brand strategies to my social media management clients, and basically I would put 90% of the effort and budget into the company brand, the company email, the company Instagram, whatever, and like 10% of the effort and budget into the personal brand of like a founder or a leader. And every single time, without fail, the 10% of budget and energy that went into the personal brand superseded the 90% of budget and energy going into the company brand. So I realized how valuable personal brands are. And I just wanted to go on my own and execute because I was frustrated with corporate marketing world.
I think even to break that down further. So you were given like a larger pie while you were working at an agency, or was this when you were on your own?
So when I was working at agencies, I was the social media lead for every agency I worked at. So I like ran the social media services department.
Oh,
So I would
cool.
create strategies for each client. And yeah, it's just like such a nice little trick to pull out and be like, oh yeah, do you have a founder? Do you have a CEO? Do you have someone that we can share their personal brand? And it's like a slam dunk every time. It always works, and it always works quickly.
It's interesting because like from our standpoint, it's like obvious. Like when you're in socials and you consume socials and you study socials, like the socials that you follow are like a person. Like how often are you like, oh, faceless graphics with no so what? Like I want to follow that. Like that's why I show up online.
Yeah, it's silly. Like you literally never, but
Never.
I don't know. I just feel like, especially like CMOs are so removed from what it actually is to be a person on the internet. Like CMOs think that people are going to be so fucking excited about your boring ass new product update webinar. Like no one gives a fuck. Like literally nobody cares. And it does seem obvious, but it's not obvious to most brands. Like it just is not obvious because I think we're so unconscious about our own behavior that we can't even self-reflect and be like, oh, who do I follow? Why do I follow them? Why am I consuming this content? I think that takes a level of awareness that most people just don't have.
The CMO issue though is like actually to me, it's like it's actually a separate serious problem. And it's that like CMOs are like typically have an MBA or are rewarded for like bean counting or having skill sets in math. Like to excel in the digital world, you have to have creative. Not that math isn't like, I mean, I don't have math, but I mean, I could be biased, but it's not that like math excels in what you require in order to get your brand to stand out. Like you require that creativity. And there's so many CMOs that are making such flawed decision making for a business when they don't even use socials. Like I feel like so many of the DMs I get is like, we're working with X said massive brand. It was a huge deal for our agency. The person that's in charge on their side doesn't even use socials and is telling us what to do for socials. Literally this morning. Last example, literally this morning, my operations manager got off the call with one of our clients and he's like, well, you know, I don't know if I should pay this upcoming invoice because you guys didn't even put a logo on every single one of our social media posts. Where do you begin? What are like the fundamental takeaways that you can give to business owners that are like, this is either what to do or absolutely not to do? Because I know it's a loaded question.
No, yeah. Well, first I'll share my recent CMO story. I was consulting for I'm not going to say who it is, but it is a unicorn startup. This is a $17 billion valuation, young tech company, super amazing. And anyways, it's a great product. It's a great company, very successful. The CMO told me to my face, Courtney, social media is a trend. Like social media as a whole, he thinks is like a trend that's passing.
But then what's the alternative?
The alternative is emails about webinars that no one gives a fuck about. Anyways, yeah,
this guy
it's frustrating.
Might be onto something. He must have millions of followers that depend on him for business advice, and he must be leading the charge when it comes to digital trends.
Yeah, it's frustrating. But as far as what not to do, if you work in social media, marketing, sales, anything, start to become conscious of your own behavior. That is the most important thing you can do. Start to become conscious of, why am I following this person? Why am I sending this? Why am I signing up for this webinar? Why am I subscribed to this email? If you can just bring those things to consciousness and start to be a conscious consumer, you're going to be able to identify those patterns, pull them out, and then use them in your own strategy. So you might start to notice, wow, I'm following and consuming a lot of things with humor. That's really common for me. Okay, how can I incorporate humor into my strategy? Interesting. I am really consuming a lot of things around tips and advice, like really specific actionable tutorials. Can I incorporate that into my own socials? Just becoming aware of your own behavior is the missing link.
That's what I say all the time is like, we consume socials, we don't study socials. And it sounds like such a simple thing to say, but like the moment you stop being like almost like an ambient observer, like there's something to socials that is so mindless, like that's why it's so addictive. But the moment you become like, when was the last time you actually actively like studied something, like you were in school? Like what would be the outsized impact of if you just spent a week studying socials and actually studying why you liked a piece of content that you actually like hit like on or hit saved on or hit DM'd on? Like it's actually so valuable to you, and we don't do that enough.
It is crazy. I do think there still is this idea of social media as being like silly and frivolous and like something that doesn't really matter, which I don't know how that's still in the zeitgeist, but for a lot of professionals, that is like how they think about social as still something
it's an age
silly
thing though. I think that's what makes this whole like social conversation so confusing is like, I often have this conversation the most with people who've done something successful in their lives, but it just hasn't translated into the digital world. You know, like they're 40, they're 50, they're 60. And they're like, you know, I know that it's a big thing, but like, is it for me? And I think it comes down to like their own behaviors, how they use it. And if they see influencers, especially if they have kids, what those rather influence creators, like what those creators look like. Because it's really hard to see yourself if your kids are following whoever the like cool person is of the moment. I wish I had more young people in my life so I could pull that out. But you know what I mean? Like I feel like it's harder to see yourself in it. And then that was the conversation we had yesterday is like, who is the influencer? Who has influence in your industry? And outside of being in like real estate or like a medical spa, is like if you're like in window cleaning, like who has influence in your industry? Sometimes it's hard to kind of pinpoint where to go because oftentimes like there's really no one killing it.
Yeah, which I think is a great opportunity because a lot of those spaces are wide open. Like you can step in and be that person. But I would encourage people to think about like not only on social, but like social adjacent things. Like what podcasts do you listen to? What YouTube videos do you watch? Like
great point.
Once you start to identify, like you can break it down and implement that on your own.
Even what I feel like I learned from you is you have no ego in like truly just being you. Like the content you put out, it's like it's literally in the most like cool way all over. Like you do like creator tips, you do like really small business tips, you do like money hacking tips. Like you just kind of share everything and what is your approach to planning? Like how do you test things? Like I feel like whenever I see your content, I'm like, wow, Courtney's trying something different. This is interesting. I back it, but it's so unique to you. Like what is your mindset with being a creator?
Yeah, I am a super disorganized person, so I don't have like a strategy spreadsheet. I don't have planning. All I do is I force myself to post every day. And that could be something repurposed. That could be something that's just like an idea I come up with. That could be me like at the very end of the day being like, fuck, I gotta post something. So I'm just gonna, you know, take a video like while I'm in the bath or something. Like I just have to post every single day, and then periodically, usually once a month, I go back, I look at the outliers, I look at the top performing posts, and then I notice patterns in them. Interesting. In these top performing posts, I'm talking about this topic. I am, you know, doing a talking head and it has a green screen. So I identify whatever elements are working well, and then I just try to continue to refine those and the topics too. I'll be like, okay, these are my 2 top performing topics this month. I'm going to incorporate that into my next month. So it's really just like throwing things against the wall, forcing myself to post once a day, even if it's bad, even if it sucks, looking at the outliers, and then identifying the patterns and repeating those patterns as much as I can in future posts. So it creates like a positive loop that makes my content consistently get better and better.
Ah, it's a great feedback. And is when you do your monthly assessment, like is it a formal thing that you schedule out, or is this just something that you're like is like, you know, 3 weeks, like where is your head at that from like they're looking back?
Yeah, it's not formal, although I would like to formalize it a little bit more,
like,
but
yeah.
it's usually just a feeling of like, okay, it's been like a few weeks. Let's look back. And oftentimes I will just recreate the exact same videos. Like I repurpose over and over and over. If there's a video that performs well, if it gets over 100,000 views, I will re-record it with 5 different hooks. I will re-record it on different days in different outfits. I will say that same script. I'll like incorporate it on my podcast. I'll incorporate it on a Zoom. I'll like say it over and over again and just have literally like dozens and dozens of different versions of the same thing. I don't believe in like coming up with new ideas all the time. I think we all have sort of our message that we need to get out, and we just need to say
like
it
your
like
corner.
yeah, like say it over and over. Like it's not about figuring out 100 posts to make. It's like, how do you say the same 1 or 2 things 100 ways each?
That's just such an approachable way of saying it. Okay, so I've got some other great questions for your ease of approach. Do you edit your own content?
Mostly. Yeah, I do have some help that does like nice branding and makes my cover photos, but as far as like the raw editing, just chopping it together, that's me.
And you're doing that every day?
Every day. Yeah, but sometimes my posts are really easy. Like sometimes I'm just downloading an old post. Sometimes I'm pulling a clip from my podcast. Sometimes I'm just putting text over B-roll. Like usually
your
it takes
approach
me
is super approachable. Like that's what I love about your content too. It's like it's not overwhelming. And I think that's like what comes across when you look at creators. It's like often, but by the time you kind of reach them, like they've reached a tipping point where they've like figured it out. Like they've gone through, unless you're like someone that's like really like deep in like it, you know, going every day, you'll find the up and comers. But like for the most part, you like Wishbone Kitchen, the girls were talking about it this week. And I'm like, I just like saw Wishbone Kitchen on some random post like a few weeks ago. And I felt like the old like hag in the team. Cause I'm like, who is Wishbone Kitchen? And I'm like, but you often kind of find people once they're like bigger. So that's what makes it feel unapproachable, is that you see it and they've got like video editors and they've got like teams behind them. But like you are proof that you're super successful. You run your own agency and you're still editing your own content every day.
Yeah, it's just the most important thing. Like I need to stay close to it because it's the most important thing. But yeah, I'm really happy that it's reflected, that it's approachable, because that is my goal. Like people will come to me with strategy questions. People will come to me with like, where do I start? My positioning, my messaging, and I literally will not answer until they have posts. Like I'm like, it doesn't fucking matter what day of the week you're posting and what time of the day you're posting if you don't have any content. I'm not going to tell you how to position your content if you don't have a single piece of content. Now, if you have 100 posts, yeah, you can come to me and I can look at your analytics and we can kind of strategize together. But that's why I try to make it approachable, because I think it's like working out. Like, yeah, you could have like a whole training plan on running a marathon, but if you're like obese, like you got to start by just walking half a mile a day, right? Like you need to
Yes.
start somewhere. It's a muscle,
Yes.
it's a skill that you build, and then you can strategize and refine.
Do you find that people are coming to you asking for you to like build them up? Like that's kind of where I struggle is like I find there's like people that reach out that think it's like like you can hire someone to like make you famous, right? And that kind of goes to your point. It's like we can't really do anything unless you're doing the content. Like you have to be an active participant in this ask. Do you find you get that? And if so, how do you approach that?
Yeah, if somebody comes and they're like, look, I want to delegate all of social, I don't even want to touch it. I'm like, fine, great, but you're going to have a long form piece of content that we're pulling everything else from. So yeah, maybe you never have to log into your Instagram account. That's fine if you don't want to do that, but you better have a big budget because we need to have production. We need to have some sort of like YouTube channel podcast that needs to be pillar content if you want smaller content to go out. So it is possible. It just is going to cost you more. And if you're not willing to be in the creative, then I'm like not interested in working with you.
No, and I think that's a perfect answer. But I think more like when someone is coming on and they're like, "Hey, Courtney, like I want what you have, but I want it in my industry." Like, is your approach to then help them make pillars and start creating content similar to yours? Like, is that your strategy in working with you?
No, my strategy is to first get them in the habit. So we meet every single day. I give them a content prompt. They create content. They get in the habit of building, and then after a few weeks, I'll do a strategy for them. But they have to like prove to me that they can post consistently and that they have the muscle of it, because I just get so tired of like wasting my time with people who like you give, and I've been here. I've paid people for a strategy and not executed on it because of my own fear of being seen. But it's just that nothing matters unless you're overcoming the fear of being seen. You have the habit and you have a strong foundation. That's why I start with like mindset and habit first, and then I move to strategy. It's too often strategy can be really overwhelming to start with for one person.
Yeah, that's like brilliant. And that's exactly like but like you're giving them hooks. You're actually meeting them in like what they're filming it while you're on the call.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's a huge value service. Who do you like to work with the most? Because we've got lots of listeners. So maybe we got some like Courtney Johnson clients.
Yeah, I mean, I love to work with people who like have their own thing or want to have their own thing, right? Like maybe you have a full-time job, but you're freelancing on the side. Maybe you've gone fully on your own. That's a lot more helpful because it's really hard to get people like excited and passionate posting about the job they hate. So yeah, if you have your own thing, that's helpful. And yeah, I really like working with people that, have the skills, they're smart and successful. They just have some mindset issues, right? Like they feel cringe, they feel weird, they don't want to be made fun of, they don't want, people to talk shit about them. And I love guiding people through those struggles.
Okay, cool. I mean, I hope we can get like that's a really cool value service, like every day with like a hook, 15 minutes. Okay, question. What are your thoughts on TikTok since after the ban? On a personal note, I'm like, what the fuck? Like my engagement and my view count has gone way down. Does my content suck, or are you noticing the same thing?
My views have definitely gone down on TikTok, but anytime my views go down, I have a little trick. I just repost my most viral videos and then the views will come back up.
And they're not performing.
Honestly, it's hard. Like the algorithm definitely did change. There definitely is some sort of update or something. It's hard. It's like a big fucking mystery,
I got some insight that they reset it, and like especially like because I'm in Canada and you're in the US, I think they took out what made the algorithm super proprietary because it sorts more similar to like IG and Facebook than how scary good TikTok was. Like it's scary. It knew me at a scary level.
Yeah, it's interesting. I definitely have seen a bit of a change, but I'm like, what do you do about it? So what? Like, okay, we just got to keep showing up and keep posting.
I know. I just wanted to like one TikToker to another, just see if
you're
like,
not crazy.
And that's the thing that makes all of this so frustrating is that like we're all just like trying to figure it out. No one really knows what they're doing. What is your craziest story of, without naming them, like huge brand where you're like, oh my God, this is so crazy to work with you. And then you're like, you come in and you're like, what? I have so many of those where it's ruined.
Oh my gosh. I have literally so many. I mean, I think a big frustration is when I go into big corporations and there's just so much approval processes that it just sucks any life out of the post. That really annoys me. But there's a brand that I did like paid collaboration with recently, and I've been using this as an app. I've been using this app for like probably like 7 years. Like it is an app I've been using forever. And I wanted to incorporate that in my content. Like, look, like this is, I literally have the email for my sign up date. I love them. I use them all the time. Like, I want to talk about the fact that I've been using y'all consistently and paying for this tool for 7 years. That's how like brand loyal I am. And they're like, no, sorry. That actually doesn't fit with like the script or the talking points we prepped. And unless it's in these set talking points, we can't talk about it. And it's like little things like that. It's like, are you kidding me? But because it doesn't, it's not like, it's against the rules. It's not in this framework. Like you suck the life out of your content, you know?
But that's also like just someone that like should be fired. Like that's like a lower rung person that's just like, you are an idiot and you just cost the company like an opportunity cost that is unquantifiable. That's what whenever I do like partnership posts, I'm like, look, my rules, my script, my community, you're paying to tap into this. Like, I'm going to tell you what is going to work because you're paying me for this to work. So and if that's not the parameters, I wish you the best. I wish you well. I wish you a great life. To me, it was a really hard thing to overcome for like doing paid partnerships because I'm like, I'm actually not in it for that. Like what does it cost to ruin the community that you worked so hard for what? $1,800? What is it worth to like sell out? And I just think that that is a great point that when brands do that, it's a no-no for me. It's a no thanks. Goodbye.
It's crazy. Yeah, but I mean, in general, I think that marketing leaders are not trusting their young employees that are tapped in, and they're just putting so much like micromanagement over something they don't understand, and it's really fucking up social strategies, and it doesn't work. And it really frustrates me because there's so many talented people that are probably feeling so frustrated, and I worry that young people coming up in the social media industry are going to be like, their creativity is going to be beaten out of them. I don't want that, but I see it happening.
I wonder if that's the future of it. I feel like we're at this weird time because like people who have like really like the solid serious jobs at the top grew up without phones. You know, like that was what made when I think maybe I'm a few years older than you, but when I got into kind of marketing, I was kind of that perfect like age because I was like old enough that you could like trust to pay like good money with, but I was young enough that I like knew a phone. And this was like 10 years ago. So, you know, like it was like, okay, she's you know, she's not 17, you know, we can give her a few $1,000 per month, but like she definitely knows the phone. And I feel like that as we keep getting older and you know, our age group ends up being like the older end of the millennials, they kind of grew up with phones too. So I wonder if that's where it's going to go because I think that that's the biggest disconnect, but maybe you're also right too. Maybe the MBAs are going to kill the creativity.
I mean, I think that there is this other group of people that either aren't going to school or they're just going straight into social media and they're doing great. Like those are the people that are performing. I just really think that school, I mean, I went to school and it can kill, don't let it kill your creativity.
I don't know if I would go to school again.
I wouldn't.
I don't.
Fuck no.
Especially with the whole like this like ChatGPT divide. Like it's a really confusing time that like half the schools are okay with it and then half the schools are completely against it. Like I think it will be a really interesting like Harvard study for like tracking where those people go in life when they like grew with it versus grew without it.
Yeah, I mean, it's here. It's inevitable. You might as well learn to leverage it. You might as well learn the tools because the people in the schools who have like AI banned, they're not going to learn shit. Like I think it's a required skill that you have knowledge of AI.
You know what's crazy is we just hired this a new team member, and she comes from like one of the like biggest agencies, full stop. And I'm like, how much like ChatGPT were you using at work? Like, did they condone it? Like, she's like, oh yeah, absolutely not. She was like, it was like a fireable offense to be using it. And like, this is like the agency that gets all of the huge RFP contracts. And I'm like, whoa, like to me, that's like, you're no longer in the game. Like, how are you going to be able to maintain that with the cost of labor when like boutique firms can like outpace you by using AI?
That's crazy, but it doesn't surprise me.
No, it doesn't. It's actually for me. It's like it's become a hiring job requirement, which I think might be a bit controversial, but like it's completely transformed my concept of time. Like for a brand core, for example, or like a social strategy, like it was very reasonable for it to take like 2 full-time days before. Now I'm like, if you tell me you need 2 days to do it, like I can't afford you because now everything costs 11x.
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, I also would not hire someone that wasn't using it. Hell no. No. Like, I need someone that knows all the tools and can teach me a thing or two.
Better than me. No, like they didn't.
Yeah.
I need resident Gen Zs that are like showing up, living on their phones. Like if you don't live on your phone, and I know more about the like, I'm like that's a problem. What is your approach? Like, are you using different AI programs? Like, I love just like asking like what the program workflow is. Have you heard of Flora Locks? By the way, I want to tell you about this one.
No.
I can give you something if you're going to give us some. So Flux Laura, and it's like you basically upload like 5 or 6 different photos of your face, and then it can make expressions for you. So it can make you'll generate AI versions of yourself, which is like super helpful for thumbnails because thumbnails, you're like, it's all about clickbait. Like it's getting someone to click on it. So they can make expressions for you. Maybe I'll use Flux Laura for this podcast cover for YouTube. So we're both like, oh.
I'm not on YouTube. Well, I am on YouTube. I post my podcast on YouTube, but I would like to get better at YouTube and optimize my thumbnails. So I'm going to use that.
But what AI, not ChatGPT, what AI programs are you using that you can't live without?
Claude is definitely the best one. The one that I use the most.
For writing.
Yeah.
Creative writing.
So good.
French kiss.
So good for writing. I use ChatGPT a lot as well. And then Perplexity. Do you use Perplexity?
No.
It's great. It's like if ChatGPT was better at searching the internet, but also could search through like YouTube videos and PDFs, and it's just really good at search. So yeah, Perplexity is great. But Perplexity, Claude, ChatGPT is my most used AI tool. And then Opus Clip, I guess you would consider that an AI tool because they have some AI features.
Yeah. We were using Opus Clip, but we actually moved to the Riverside AI. Riverside AI is as good or better, and for Riverside is just, it's also really good. I've had a bunch of clients use Riverside for when they're doing like their own talking head style. I haven't done this myself yet, but they give really positive feedback because Riverside has like an in-app like editing, almost like a CapCut, but it'll take out like the ums, the ahs, the dead space. Like it will do an AI kind of edit for you. And it also has like an Opus Clip function where like it will basically take the best clips that are optimized for socials.
Wow, I'm gonna try that. I haven't tried that yet.
Also, Autopod. Have you used
What's
Autopod?
That?
Autopod
No.
is for long form. So for your podcast, I do not edit my own videos, and I do not plan to start. But it's not my skill set. I'm good at writing, but I'm not good at video editing. Anything more time on the phone, I like start to like, I get like, But Autopod is what my team uses because it streamlines the long form editing for YouTube.
Okay, cool. I'm going to try it.
So yeah, I mean, YouTube for me is something that I'm really wanting to focus more on because I find there's just something so scary about the fleetingness of the short form medium. I think I don't know if it's necessarily going anywhere, but I just feel like I should have something like backed in for a community. It was really interesting. Do you know who Dan RØDE is?
Mm-mm.
He's a YouTuber. He's got his own like loyal religious fan base. And I interviewed him and he was like talking about how like the thing is that's the craziest with TikTok and Instagram is like you could have a ton of followers, but like you seldom get stopped because people don't feel like they actually like really know you. Whereas YouTube, they're more like they're actually like fans, like because YouTube you seldom like just like aimlessly scroll. You usually like go for like your channels, your accounts, so you kind of get more of that like loyal tribe in a longer format than like fleeting kind of videos where people like recognize you. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just in the content that I consume, definitely the people that I watch on YouTube or even listen to podcasts have a bigger top of mind awareness in my mind. So yeah, this is encouraging me to do more long form.
Have you ever stopped a TikToker?
No, never. Have you?
How often have you been stopped?
Not that much.
No, same.
Maybe like 10 times. I don't know.
Usually I'll get like attitude when the CEO brings me in. They're like, yeah, we know who you are. And I'm like, oh. But it's never like oh my gosh, like, I thought. No, it's like, oh yeah, we know who you are. You're coming for our job. And I'm like, oh.
People, I think I can not attitude, but it's not like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to see you. It's like, wait, do you post like career stuff or something? And I'm like, yeah, that's me.
That's me. You know what really got me, and this is like we're really taking a turn here. I'm dying to ask you. Can you please explain more on your ADHD medication with your shrooms, your microdosing shrooms? Is this working? Is this a daily
Yeah.
thing? Can you give me more information?
Yeah, so I was taking Vyvanse for like 6 years, and it really fucked up a lot of parts of my body, and I was definitely reliant and dependent on it. And that's no bueno. And then I was like, all right, I want to get pregnant in the future and I don't want to be reliant on like stimulant medication. So a friend of mine was doing like microdose psilocybin on the daily as a substitute for ADHD medicine. So I started doing it and it works great. Like it's like not bull. You know how some things are like bullshit, like
Yeah, that's
lion's
what I'm
mane,
asking.
reishi,
Yeah.
and it's like kind of it's like whatever. Like this is not no.
This
You
is not
feel
Vyvanse substitute. Yeah.
no, yeah, you feel the psilocybin for sure. It's a great tool to use in your work. I cannot recommend it enough. Like
But
it changed the game.
are you creative? Are you focused?
Yeah.
What is it?
Way more creative, way more focused, way more like creative problem solving. So I always joke that like Vyvanse made me like horny for a spreadsheet. Like I would really want to be like
Rude.
organizing something. No, not with mushrooms. That's more like creative. However, when I started taking it, it made me hate the like psilocybin made me hate the spreadsheet work and the email work so much that it was like my breaking point of I'm finally hiring a fractional COO, and I wouldn't have done that if I was taking Vyvanse because I would have been in the spreadsheets. Anyways, so yeah, I mean it really depends on your intention, but focus, creativity, all of that is definitely boosted.
Interesting. And so Vyvanse doesn't allow you to get pregnant?
You can't you can get pregnant on it, but you can't take it while you're pregnant.
Oh, so because you had been taking it since whatever, like high school
Yeah.
or university. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. It's very addictive, but I also think too that like addictive in a not in like a okay, that requires some explanation. It to me as someone that is like a productivity addict, it's addictive to be so productive. It's not addictive like cocaine is addictive,
Right.
but it's from a habit forming, it's addictive to be able to get as much done because it's just disproportionate for like it's literally limitless, especially if you go
It's like literally that. Yeah, that's how it feels. And I think it's a tool. Like it's a tool that like I'm not entirely off it. I'll maybe take like one every other week. Like it is a tool. I'm definitely not like being like don't do it at all. I think it's great. If I had not had that as a tool, I probably would have turned to like I don't know, something way worse or like smoking or nicotine or drinking or something else because when I started getting on it, like I was not in a great place. So it definitely like saved my life. But yeah, I mean, these are all tools.
No, they're all tools. I just thought that was a really interesting take that you put on social. But that also shows you too, right? Is like, I hope we didn't lose everybody for that turn. But what I do think that illustrates is I think I might have saw you do that video like once, and that had got to be like 6 or 7 months ago. I don't remember how long ago you posted it. But it shows you like you don't know what's going to stick with people and what's going to stand out. And like you would have never gotten that feedback, or you would have never known that was something that I was like interested in having a conversation on, if not for one, you posting it, and two, allowing the kind of the network effect and the internet like do its thing. Like you connect with people and you don't realize in which way you connect. But like I love creators that you're not even just like you're not in one box. Like you're not saying the same shit every week. Like you're a dynamic living being that exists on the internet. Like I feel like I know you, and it's like you're online, and like but until now I didn't actually really know you, other than I do know that you've got someone named Camille that works in your office, because like every once in a while you'll give me like I'll get a CC on what's going on at Courtney Johnson's agency. But
Oh, oops. Did I accidentally email you?
I now realize that there's a Camille there, because I remember a few months ago I was like, interesting question, Courtney. I don't know how to quite answer this right now, but it's just anyways. But yeah, so that just shows you though you don't know what people are going to connect with.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Please post everything. Like I tell people, like literally post everything you're obsessed with, even if you think it's so. Like I'll give an example. I had a client who was building her personal brand around marketing. She's a marketer, and she also has like this gaming YouTube channel where she like live streams in games. And I'm like, you need to start posting about that on your LinkedIn. Like, yes, you're posting about marketing, but post about gaming. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Like, one, that you built a great YouTube following. Two, that you have this passion. Well, guess what? Immediately after she started posting that she's a gamer, she started getting hit up by all these gaming companies for marketing consulting because they need somebody that's in the gaming
I
culture
get
that
it.
understands it.
Yes.
So it's like those things are what's going to differentiate you. That nonprofit that you volunteer for, that weird hobby that you have, that interesting background that you had, the career you switched from, like your story and the things that you're obsessed with is what sets you apart from every other person that's like just siloing themselves. So this is why I don't like niches. Like I honestly get really annoyed when people are like, "What's your niche?" and like asking for one thing or trying to pick one thing. And I'm like, yeah, that's great. You can definitely have like a main bucket of something you talk about. But if you're just being like, I'm only going to talk about, I don't know, data analytics and absolutely nothing else, nobody's going to follow you. Nobody's going to care because why should they? Like, oh, great, they can learn about data analytics. They're going to, they would rather learn about data analytics from someone that they relate to in a certain way, or someone that's funny, or somebody that also has a similar story to them, or somebody that also has this other interest. Like we want to see people as multifaceted, not just like one thing.
Totally. And I mean, it makes me think of the guy that started Moz. What is his name?
I know who you're
like
talking about.
exactly. No, so the guy who started Moz, like pretty big name. Like he's pretty comparable. It's interesting. He's comparable to a Gary V, etc. But what's interesting is like because he was so niched down on like SEO specifics, you never know what piece of content is going to be the piece of content that like gets them to call or gets them to remember you. But it's like being consistent and showing up, but like being you, because like that's what's memorable, is just being you.
Yeah, I don't know if you have the same experience, but I actually find that my highest converting posts tend to be like really low performing. Like it tends to have like, yeah, barely any views and comments, but that's when people want to reach out and like book with me.
Well, I actually had a breakthrough on this. I was like, really, when you should create content like in the funnel, like the content that does the best by like all metrics, like views, saves, DMs, are like the videos on like Lululemon, Apple, you know, like it's the ones that like everybody and their mother has an opinion on. And actually, when I was speaking with Oren on a podcast, he's like, no, he's like, that's like a thing. He's like, that's why I do videos on like our place pans. He's like, I don't give a fuck about our place pans, but like, he was like, but everybody on the internet wants to talk about, you know, all clad versus pans because like they have an opinion on it. And like, that's like what opens you up to more people. And then it's like, it's really bringing people down the funnel. So the like more specific, niched in the sense that like it's tailored to our audience, like the founders, like the, you know, the CMOs. That's gonna disproportionately have less numbers than like anyone and their mother who wants to like get in on the Samsung versus Apple debate, which is like the funniest thing is like when I do those videos, unless it's about Taylor Swift, they're having a fight with each other. The Taylor Swift one, they all hate me, but yeah, I know. I entered into the no land and I was like, you know, does Taylor Swift even have a brand? And then people were like, oh my God, it's in her music. Like, you have to listen to all 5 of her albums to get to know her. And I'm like, oh, okay, thanks, guys. Like,
the Swifties are aggressive. That's
it was
true.
a moment. It was a moment. Now I like fear when I see girls like at like workout classes and they're like wearing Swift shirts. I'm like, they're for sure one of the 5,000 comments that told me to go die in a hole.
Yeah, there's some, but I'm sure you got a lot of views on that. But I actually have a tip. Yeah, anytime you want to get more followers, you just need to leverage the brand affinity of a celebrity or a major brand. Like I had a client who's a therapist, and she made a video saying, you know, if you work with me, here's how I would onboard you as a therapy client. Boring, nobody cares. Well, she made the exact same video. If Britney Spears was my client, here's how I would onboard her as her therapist. Now, she would not onboard you or Britney Spears any different. She has the same onboarding process. But just the fact that she said Britney Spears, like, blew her the fuck up. Yeah.
And what were the comments?
The comments were just like, oh yeah, Britney Spears needs that or something. I don't know. They would like, or people being like, leave Britney alone. Why do you gotta bring Britney? It doesn't like. It was just random ass comments, but the point is, like, she got so much visibility. So instead of saying, you know, here are 5 apps, you could say, I don't know, like Jeff Bezos uses these 5 apps. Like just the more you can bring in, it doesn't even have to be a person, it doesn't even have to be a celebrity, it can be a brand name, it can be a historical event, a historical figure, like some sort of archetype, but bringing that in is always going to boost your content.
What's a really great tip, because even as you said it, like these are like the 5 apps I can't live without. These are the 5 apps Jeff Bezos can't live without. Like what's instantly more interesting is Jeff Bezos. And I think what's funny is there's so much paralyzation over this like potentiality of like a cancellation mob. And I'm like, who's gonna, like, if people are coming to you in the comments telling you like, does Jeff Bezos even use these, like, you're getting engagement. Like, as long as you're not spreading like hateful misinformation, like comments are great for engagement. That's why it's so funny. But I talk about the Taylor Swift video like in a funny way, because like the reason why that one is so funny to me is if you went and looked at the comments, they were all negative. Like I probably had like, 20 people who were like, you go, Camille, like keep doing you. But what's interesting is I got like 12,000 followers from that video. So like I got silent support. Like a lot of people don't feel the need to express like, hey, love this video, keep it up. Like how often do you see a video and you're like aligned, but you're not like telling the creator that they nailed it. You'll show support either through a follow or like you come back later. And so much of that like humble professional that's starting out doesn't realize that it's sometimes you want the comments that don't agree with you, because that means your video is reaching a strong number of people.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I cannot agree with that enough. I think the more trolls, the better. I love a troll. Like they just boost my videos. Like people are getting pissed at me from a video I posted like 2 days ago, but guess what? I think it's at like 500,000 now. So I'm like, thank you so much.
Thanks for watching.
I'm like, I love a troll.
What's the video
like
about?
I get so happy when I see them, and sometimes they're creative, sometimes they've got some creative insults.
I also learned too from a lot of the comments. Like I find that they're also super constructive. One of the ones that was my favorite is I did a video on restoration hardware, and I said restoration hardware wasn't luxury, it's premium. And because it's sold in a mall, it has a catalog, they're very open on price point, like they have outlet stores. Like I just felt there was enough that it wasn't true luxury. Like it's top of its category, but it's premium, not luxury. And it was really interesting. The first like 20 comments were super negative. Like, you're an idiot, you have no idea what you're talking about, a $5,000 couch like is luxury. And I actually, when I Googled it, like I didn't realize afterwards, but restoration hardware actually considers themselves luxury. But what was really interesting is that the video took on its own life, and then people started arguing against each other, because a lot of people were like, yeah, no, like this is not luxury, this is premium. And then they started arguing, and some people made really good points on both sides, but that's also a great dialogue, which like you shouldn't be afraid to make dialogue. Like, so I find so many professionals are just so afraid to give their opinion because of like they fear the peer, and they don't want someone to be like, oh no, you're wrong for X, Y, and Z. But like for the most part, if you're like a practicing practitioner and you're gonna give that person your opinion if they come into your office for a consult, like put it on the internet and stop fearing the peer. Like let them comment.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, honestly, people are really, really afraid of speaking their mind. But usually all that does is like push away the people that aren't right in your target audience and pull in the people that are. However, I agree with you. I don't think RH is luxury at all, because they have shit craftsmanship. Like they use like particle board and stuff. I don't think it's luxury.
No, I don't think it's luxury because you call it luxury.
Yeah, true.
Like, I think that there needs to be some delineation on it. Okay, I want to ask you before we wrap up, I want your opinion on like LinkedIn. Do you think that this is like really something people should be focused on? Do you think it's like riding out its wave? Give me your 411 on the platform.
People absolutely should be focusing on it right now. It's like not even in its infancy. Like it's crazy. So there's 1 billion active users, like 1 billion with a B. And do you know how many of those post regularly? Regularly meaning one time per week is less than 1%. So if you can just start posting on LinkedIn 1 time per week, you're automatically going to rank in the top 1% of the entire platform. And these are the billion people that are like competing against you for your jobs, for your clients. And if you're, again, very minimal, 1 time per week, already in the top 1%. Now, if you have an optimized profile, if you're posting decent content that's decently optimized, if you're engaging a tiny bit, like again, spending 1 hour a week on the platform, it's super easy to rank in the top fraction of 1%. So if you're actively looking for clients, if you're actively looking for speaking opportunities, podcast opportunities, book opportunities, or if you're actively looking for a job, post on LinkedIn 1 time a week. Like, you will be so surprised because people are looking for you. Like, they're looking for a consultant, they're looking for a graphic designer, they're looking for whatever it is. Like, that literally is what LinkedIn is for. Like, make it easy for them to find you.
I guess because it lacks grid view and it's more like that timeline flow, and figuring out, like in my experience, we did like a really heavy push on LinkedIn, and I'm feeling inspired to come back to it. I found LinkedIn's a longer cycle for me. Like, I find it's a lot of like relationship building, and you need to like be more invested in like not just posting and leaving, but like being a part of the platform. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think that's important, but also you're gonna find that there's just like you can expect less engagement and likes and reach overall. So if you're comparing it to a platform like Instagram, you're probably gonna be like, oh, this like isn't really working or whatever because you got 40 likes and 10 comments. But in fact, 40 likes and 10 comments is like huge on LinkedIn. So yeah, it's kind of tricky, and a lot of people get tripped up because of the numbers. But it's really like it's really, really effective. Also, like, it's just so big with SEO. Like, LinkedIn blogs are so good for SEO. They index super fast. It's like such a great hack.
That is a great hack. But what is your, like, how do you benchmark that differentiation with clients? Like, if you're helping them on Instagram and TikTok and then LinkedIn, and they're getting like 10 comments or like 10 likes, and you're like, okay, that's huge for LinkedIn. How are you how are you qualifying that difference?
It's just if they're getting results, if they're getting clients, if they're getting people booking their one-on-one link or subscribing to their newsletter or whatever their goal is. As long as they're tracking to their goal, I don't give a fuck about the numbers.
And what is your top performing platform?
Based on conversion, right now is Instagram stories.
Really?
Yeah, that's like popping right now. But I mean, like, my most followers is on TikTok. I probably made the most money on LinkedIn, but right now Instagram stories is like top of mind for me. That's been like lots of
And
results.
what are you doing in Instagram stories? I don't know if I can follow you on Instagram.
Just like posting my life, posting a lot of behind the scenes.
And it's working, like it's converting business for you?
Yeah, it's converting really, really well. I think it's just because
Amazing.
I'm posting like behind the scenes of programs I'm doing and people I'm working with. So people are actually like seeing the thing rather than seeing me market the thing.
True. Okay, I mean, that makes perfect sense. And then so LinkedIn, you made the most money. Instagram, you're doing the best right now. And TikTok, you're the most followed.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. And then, yeah, now after this conversation, you're going to tap into YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. I also have been loving Threads right now. I've activated Threads for in-person events, and Threads has been like the best to get people to come to in-person events. I think it's because there's a lot of like location discoverability.
So you're doing in-person events?
Yeah.
What does that look like?
I do weekly in-person like guided co-working. That's kind of like guided co-working, deep work, and a bit of like reflection and guided networking and a little bit of coaching. So it's like spending a whole day with me.
In Chicago?
In Austin.
Oh, in Austin. Sorry, you're in Texas. I thought you were in Chicago. So you're in Austin, Texas, and you do that in person.
Yeah.
And it's doing well? How many people are you getting showing up?
Yeah, I don't make money from it. I actually I host it at a friend's business, and she gets the tickets, but I get at least one client every time. So it's worth it.
It's worth it. It's right. Awesome. Well, the next time I'm in Texas, I'll have to come in and grab you a coffee and talk mushrooms and branding.
Literally. Yeah. When are you coming to Texas?
It's really not on the horizon right now, but I'll keep you posted because, like, as we're recording this, there is a blizzard outside. So I'm ready to get to anywhere that's not snowing. So maybe soon.
Well, South by Southwest is in like a few weeks, and that's like the biggest.
It's the thing.
Biggest
Are you
gathering.
Going?
What?
Are you going?
Of course, yes. I'm going. I'm speaking. I'm activating. I'm doing all the things.
Oh my gosh! Congratulations! That's so exciting. Okay, cool. Well, that is a very, very big deal. I'll let you know if I'm going. I'm trying to get some brands to see like if I can get like some tickets from a brand, because like I'd prefer to go with a brand, but so far my follow-up, I mean, like me actually asking them hasn't been good. So I'll get back on that. Where should we wrap this up? What do you think there's like a strong core takeaway that Courtney Johnson can give anyone that's still listening?
Yeah. my takeaway is you need to post first, get consistent, and look at the overall analytics rather than getting caught up either in perfectionism or caught up in like what this one individual post is doing. Like zoom out, look at it as a whole, ask yourself if you are like consistently creating content and consistently reviewing that content. Get out of the weeds. Like that is the most important. When you get overwhelmed, just come back to like, did I post today? Yes or no? Like that is the only metric you need to be worrying about.
That's a great tip. And where can people find you, Courtney?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Courtney Johnson or TikTok at Courtney Johnson. And I have all my links and offers and things there.
Okay, cool. Is your name actually Courtland?
No, it's Courtney, but that's just the Instagram handle. My middle name is Lynn.
Well, okay, perfect. So that everyone can find you. And my last question for you is, have you had anyone fake try to be you on TikTok?
Yeah, but it's like those bullshit kind of, no one seriously. You know, it's like the bullshit ones that try to spam you, but not anyone that's done like a full takeover of my identity. Have you?
I have so many that are like actually taking people's money. Like people
Shit.
are like, they're like messaging me being like, hey, like I signed up for your course and like I paid money, but it seems like a scam. And I'm like, well, obviously, if you're like messaging me on a different platform, like just to confirm, I'm like, obviously. But I wanted to know if that was like a normal thing because it's like TikTok is the worst to report it.
Yeah, it does suck. But that's a huge compliment that people are scamming in your name. It means you have a powerful name.
I guess so. Well, Courtney, it was so nice to have you on the show, and thank you so much for your time. I loved chatting with you, and I love when people tell me that we have clones of each other on the internet, both telling them to get their shit together and start posting content.
I love
like,
it.
that's Courtney.
Well, thank you so much.